So no one has any issues, right, with recording? Seems like yes. Okay. So in today's sessions, I will teach you about rapid deployment of ITSA services using Lucid Chat. So before going into the topic, I just want to ask few questions. Like anyone worked on ITSI, like at least as an instead of administrator, or like at least usage of glass tables on creation of services, did any or creation of notable events? Does anyone did before? Anyone has knowledge or how the ITSA works?
Yes, I have a little bit knowledge about it.
Okay,
Yeah. Yes, here, same here.
okay, okay. So here in today's session, what we'll talk about is like building these services at a rapid phase. So in this here we'll discuss about like about in my introduction and ITSA and backpacking, and then we'll go with implementation journey of ITSI, and then service decomposition. This is the main thing in ITSI, and then how we go with implementing the services using Lucid Chat, and I will do a small demo on the ITSI using Lucid Chat. So in this session, I will teach you how we can approach ITSA engagements and the techniques we use to rapidly build out services and avoid getting blocked when our customers aren't quite ready with all the data or the information needed to build out services. So before zoom into the focus, let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture of what it takes to successfully implement monitoring of critical services. So here I would like to compare ITSA planning with a challenging terrain and formidable mountain trip. So for this, I mean, we need advanced backpacking to successfully implement this terrain or hiking these mountains, right? So similarly, implementing ITSA for complex business and technical services requires careful planning, preparation, and execution in order to reach the desired destination. Right, the desired destination can be any place on this mountain. So, for this, we need planning, preparation, and execution in order to reach that destination. Having an experienced and knowledgeable person to guide and advise you will help you successfully navigate the challenges and overcome the obstacles encountered along the way from the starting to the end. So let's take this journey together. So um, now what we need to do is first we need to decide where we want to go. In our backpacking example, this means choosing a handful of destinations to visit and set up camps. Like, so we need to set up, okay, one second, I need to um, admit, yeah, it's making some sound, thank you. Um, so first we need to decide where we want to go, and we want to set up few destinations, and we need to set up some camps. Choosing our destinations thoughtfully will ensure that we can complete this trip in a reasonable amount of time and make sure we get to see some cool spots, right? So similarly in identifying the data sources, similarly, in ITSI, identifying the data sources, KPIs, and service dependencies needed to monitor the selected services. I found that in backpacking and implementing ITSI, everyone tends to overpack and think that they need more and more services or more and more backpacking stuff to make the trip successfully. But from experience, you get better at identifying what is truly required and more efficient. So by okay, sorry, yeah. So we want to make sure where we need to go and what things need to be backpacked, like the comforter, all those things, the food, everything, right? We should not overpack too, because it it count, the weight also counts for us, right? So we want to make sure what are the things we need. We need to backpack only those things, and we get we implement those things uh, by having some experience. So let's do the ITSI journey. So here, in the same way, how we backpacking for an Terrian, we'll do same thing with the ITSI. So in ITSI, um, what we need to do is, first we need to identify what we need to get there. So let's take a look most common routes for ITSI. Sorry, yeah. So first, what we need to do is, so we usually begin with service discovery and decomposition. So I will go through this service decomposition in the next slide. But first we start with service discovery and decomposition, followed by a data assessment to understand where the gaps are and make a plan to onboard the necessary data, the data assessment. Because without data, we can't do anything in ITSA or in Splunk. And then when we create entities, services, KPIs, and dependencies, and work on setting up, tuning the thresholds, uh, and service health works calculates for accurate reporting. Finally, we provide training for all these things that we are configured, and we'll review it, we'll tune it, and we'll finalize it. So this is how the journey of ITSI implementation works. First, we discover the services and then decompose it. We do the service decomposition, and we'll find do we have the data for the services that we done on service decomposition, and then we create some entities and then KPIs, dependent services, templates, and then finally we'll review all the things that we configure, and then we'll tune it and train it for a recursive for a number of times, right? So and then let's do the service decomposition first. So usually it's a whiteboard session. How we define the service decomposition? Here we'll first identify um, okay, what are the critical services for the business which impacts the business or which impacts the customers. So we'll identify, and then we'll identify, is there any dependent services for a service. For example, here for the Buttercup store we have two dependent services, and those are web front end and mobile app. And on what other services this web front end service dependent on? You can see here in the authorization, it is dependent on card services and cloud database. So we'll define everything here. So it's easy if we have these many services, right? Okay, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 services. That's fine. What if we have these many services? And what if we have double the size of these services? It's difficult, right? So if we have very little number of services, we can use a CSV file to onboard, to create the services in ITSI, right? And I will also want to talk about service templates. So we use service templates for same kind of services. For example, here, if you see here on the left-hand side, we have on-prem database service, and here we have cloud database, which means we monitor the same KPIs on both the services, right? On the on-prem database server or in the cloud database server, we perform the same KPIs. KPIs is nothing but key performance indicators. So though, based on the KPIs, the health of this particular service will be defined. So if you look here, the both services have the same definition: on-prem database service and cloud database. The only thing is the host names will be changed. In ITSA, we call host as an entity. So only the entities will be changed. So when you use same kind of services, you can use service template. So it is easy for us, to define the services. Okay. So, and the health of this Buttercup store will depend on all the services, and we have importance for for each services. So web front end, and mobile app. So we can give importance based on the criticality of the service. So for example, okay, mobile app we can give 5 as an importance, but web front end we need to give as 8. And for on-prem database, we need to provide the the dependency health score as not health score, dependency weightage as maybe 10, because if the database is down, entire application will be down, right? So we need to give the high importance or high rating to the database servers. So we define all those things in the service decomposition, right? So okay, now let's go to demo. Okay. Anyone has any questions before going to demo? I will show you how we can create services and KPIs in those services. So service is built based on the KPI or KPIs. So I'm going to a live demo. Okay, so this is my Splunk instance with ITSI installed. So when I click here in the ITSI app, you can see there is nothing configured at. Just a couple of minutes to load. And meanwhile, I will show you a simple CSV diagram. So here we don't have any services. This is how um, the ITSI homepage shows. So when you want to create a service, let's go to the configuration, go to the services. Okay. So if you want to create any service here, okay, you can create service from 3 different ways. You can directly create service here, or you can import from a CSV file, because we have a onboard whiteboarding session, right, where we did service decomposition. So based on that, we can do the CSV file, or you can import from a such. So I will explain everything here of how we create from a just manually by creating a service, and by importing CSV file, and by importing from a search. So, and you can decide which one suits for you. So when I want to create a service, okay, let's say here I want to create a service called database service, okay, and I'm giving permissions to all the teams, which means global, and I can build manually a service here, or I can do from a service templates. Right now I have only 3 templates here, four templates. So I don't want to go with service templates right now. So I want to go from a pre-built KPIs that we have that we have with ITSI. So I go to the database. Here I can see these are all the KPIs I can build: database active connections, deadlock rate, and then query response time. I just don't need this read, right? So I just want to go with 3 KPIs for this database service. So I just create it. Okay. If anyone has any questions or doubts, you can stop me at any point of time. So then we need to define the entities here. I'm not defining any entities right now. Just I'm defining these 3 KPIs. You can see here how those because those are the predefined KPIs, right? So you can see here uh, those are derived from a tag database and tag performance. So you can see everything is defined, and here how we calculate that particular database active connection based on this calculation. And then since we didn't add any entities here, let me remove this one and then save. I don't want to add any entities right now. Okay. So these are the KPIs. Okay, and then I go save. I think we need service not saved. Okay, let me add one entity here. Add a set of rules. We can do entity title matches star. Okay. Okay, there is no entities because I didn't imported any entities yet. So let me save this one. And coming to the KPIs, here those are the KPIs we have. And here, if you want, we can add the dependencies. Right now, we created only one service, right? So there is no dependent services. If you want, we can add dependent services here by selecting add dependencies, and then we can add all the services we have for the database. And then, I mean, you can click add, and then here it will show the checkbox button, and when you checkbox it, done. Right now we don't have, so, and then finally save it. This is one way of creating the services. Okay, the other way is let me show you the setting. Let me go to the downloads, and then I'm just opening a CSV file. Okay, it's not opening. Let me show you. I'm just bringing from other screen. So here I created a service called Web A, Web V, and Web C in a CSV format. So, and I mentioned that, okay, is a description for this Web A is like this is Web A, and then this service is dependent on these two services, App 3 and App 1, and I defined the web store templates, and I define the application name, and then app title and the host. These three mainly for the entities, and the service description and dependent service is for the service. So I want to export the CSV file. So I just added this one. Let me add this one. Okay. Yeah, now it's open. So this is the CSV file. Select. So now I want to add as a lookup file. Table. I'm defining a name for this one, services.csv, and then save. Okay, I just want to give the permissions for all apps. Everyone read and admin can write. Save. Okay, now we define the service. Now let's go to the ITSI and let's import from a service. Sorry, import from a lookup file. So again, go to the configurations, services. create a service, import from a CSV file. No, yeah. Or we can do from a search tool. First, let's do with the search, and then I will show this one. I already uploaded, right? So I can do configuration services. Since I updated the lookup CSV file, right? So what I can do now is, come on, load. Yeah, service. So here the service is defined here, and it has 3 KPIs. And then input from a search. So the CSV file is good when we have less number of services, like 5 or 10 or 20. That's fine, because we can create an Excel file and we can define all the services here. So since I uploaded the Excel CSV file, what I'll do is I will call that particular CSV file, and then I will do an eval on that, so that all the dependent services will be splitted, and then click on search. So I'm just calling the lookup file, and then I'm just defining an eval command, so that everything will be in the unique way, like, okay, how we want, like we want dependent services, because we separated dependent service using comma, right? So I just use the split command to separate it, and then click next. And here we want to make sure how we import those CSV file. So the service as a service title, and then dependent service as dependent service, and the template link as service template link. Okay, and I'm not giving permissions to every team, and disabling for now. I'm not enabling those services, and click on next. So I didn't define any service templates. If you want to define service templates, we need to define before the creation of the services. So I didn't define the service template, so we don't have service templates here. And click on import. So here it will show up all the services, how they are configured. So what I'm trying to show you is, okay, this is the service decomposition we did. So we want to show this diagram in ITSI, right? So if we have less number of services, we can define a CSV file, and then we can import it. And then we can define those services from the services using the import search. So now let's go to the service analyzer, default service analyzer, and see how we how this service decomposition thing is shown here. Let me show you that. So here it's not showing anything, because this service analyzer will show only when the services are enabled. Right now, those services are in disabled state, right? So we need to go to the tree view here. When we click here, it will show, okay, so this is the one service that I created, right? Okay, so and this service has 3 KPIs, right? So those are the 3 KPIs. So I don't want those things. So here, this is the CSV file, right? I created like total 5 services: Web A and Web B and Web C, and then I can minimize this one. Yeah. And here I created like Web A is dependent on App Service 1 and App Service 3, and Web C is dependent on App Service 1 and Web Service 5. Similarly, Web 3 is dependent on these 2 services. So it's okay. Like if we have less number of services, we can manually define it. If we have like a bunch of services that we need to populate, it's okay. We can still use the CSV file to onboard it. Like, until here, do you have any questions or any concerns?
Yes, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw, so I thought you can create a service using the CSV. I noticed you first have to create a lookup.
Yes, yes. So no. First, what I did is first this database service is created based on the I mean manually I created it by going to the services.
Mhm.
The second one is created based on the CSV file that I onboarded.
Right.
Yeah. So what's your question here? So I went to
What's the
the
purpose of creating the lookup?
because we don't want to create these services manually, right? So
Mhm.
usually if you want to create these web A, web B, web C, and all these services, we can do manually by going here, right? Going to the services and then create a service web A and web B and web C. It's a manual process, right?
Right.
Yeah. So instead of doing manually, I want all the services that I want for an organization. I can
Mhm.
simply use a CSV file.
Mhm.
Uh, Let me bring you that one. So when we did the service decomposition, we got this CSV file, right? Okay. We got these are the services that we need to monitor.
Mhm.
Okay. And this service is dependent on these services, right?
Right.
So this is nothing but the same this diagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this service is dependent on these services, right? So when we did the service decomposition with the team,
Mhm.
okay, this is the picture we got. So we want to onboard this data, these services into the ITSI, right? So
Right. So
yeah.
I thought you can just create a service importing the CSV. I noticed you have one extra step, just create a, lookup. So I was wondering yeah, I was not clear on that.
Oh, why I created the lookup file?
Yeah, first. Yeah,
Yeah, the reason is it's easy to upload the lookup file, right?
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's the reason I use the lookup file.
Okay.
Since it's just one go, right? So just one click, it
Hmm.
created all these services at a single time. Web
Hmm.
V, Web C, and it's just a single go. I didn't no need to do manually creating. Okay, go to the services. Okay, here and then see how many services we created. Before I created one.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we have
Okay.
like remaining five here.
Mm,
Right?
that's right.
Yeah, so that's the purpose of having the CSV file.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. So now if we have these many services, that's fine. For example, let's say you have these many services, and maybe if we have double the size of these services, if we have more than this, double the size of this, how you can write a CSV file? It's hard to implement a CSV file, right? Because writing a CSV file, here, yeah. See, because these are the eight services, right? These are the eight services. So you defined in the CSV file. What if you have 90 services? Do you define each one by writing a okay, web A, web B, web C, web D, E, F, G, H? Do you do something like that? And it's take like a month to build the services, right? So for this, we are coming up with Lucid Chat. So what does Lucid Chat will do? So let me go and show you the Lucid Chat. Okay, so this is Lucid Chat. So whoever access to Lucid Chat, they can create, the same workflow diagrams here. So what here I'm trying to do is I'm creating. Let me zoom in. So I created a lookup, sorry, service decomposition thing here for banking sector, for a customer banking. Okay, so this service is dependent on web portal, and the web portal is dependent on Oracle web portal and web services and app services, and these app services is dependent on these other dependent services. In the similar way, for the banking services, I defined microservices, and then banking services for WebSphere metrics. So here, this is the how I define this. So this is how I define the service decomposition. By sitting with a particular group of team, I define all the services. I know you can't able to see, but let me maximize this one. So before, when you did with a group of team, you did something like this, right? And then you imported this to a CSV file, and then you imported it. That's fine. But you can't import. Can you import this one directly? No. So we came with a solution called Lucid Chat. So when we are doing service decomposition, we can share the screen with everyone, and here everyone can view the screen, and everyone can, okay, they can say, they can suggest, okay, this service is depend on this service. Okay, we don't need this service. We can delete it. Okay, that's it. Okay, and then we can remove this one. Okay, okay, these are the services we have. Okay, this, okay, and then, okay, we have the CRM, and then all those things we can do at one go by doing the service decomposition, right? So can we import this one? Yes, we can. So here, if I click here, you can add, you can ask like, okay, can we add service templates and then host and the KPIs that we added like a CSV file? Yes, we can add here. So when I click here on the service, and when I click here on the contextual panel, here, when you click on the data, you can see here, we can add a new data here. Okay, the first thing is like, I can add a metrics, and then I can add a value to this one, host one. Similarly, you can add another, what we call service template here, and you can call CPU metrics. Yeah, and then you can add a value to this one, the host 2 or something like that. So we can do all those things. You see, for example, for web servers, I did like Linux OS metrics as a template, and then I added the OS as Linux, and then host rule as www1 host. Similarly, we can add for web servers of load balancer. So similarly, what we do on the CSV file, we can do here on the Lucid Chat. But this is, it's way better than a CSV file, because see, here we have almost like 70 services, including including the customer banking. So now we can import this search as a CSV file. How we do that is by clicking on the file and export, and then you can do as a CSV file. Okay. Yes. Now we imported as a Now we imported this entire services as a CSV file. Now let's import the CSV file. Okay, now we have 9 services, right? Now what I'll do is go to this service and I said service configure services. Create a service. Oh, first of all, I need to import that file. Right, how I imported the CSV file. First, I will import that file as like by settings, add data. I just want to add that CSV file here. Okay, skip, upload. So how we add data into the Splunk? We can go to add data and we can add, right? just for testing purposes. In the similar way, I'm just selecting the file, and then I want to add this copy of banking services file, and click next. And just since it is a CSV, I just leave as a CSV, and I will click on next. I just put in the default index, review, and submit. Okay, start searching. So now we have the data, right? So, but this data is not in a proper format. See, here we have all these lines. So this is not a readable format, right? So we need to massage this, data. So for that, what I'll do is I'll write a query saying that this is my query. I just used this before, so I just want to use that query. Okay. Okay. So here we have, so that it will be convert this data into a human readable format. Yeah. See, now you can see the child services, parent services, everything here, right? So now I will use this search, this command A and command C, and then I'll import the services, import from a search. And here I'll import this one, I'll run it. Hope it works. Yeah, it is working now. And click next. Here also we do the same thing. We do child service as a service title. Sorry, child service as dependent service. Parent service as service title. And I don't want to import this one. I want this to be disabled. And let me, I mean, it's showing in a different way, but let's import. So the job is running in the background, and once it is done, we can see here in the service analyzer, default service analyzer, all the services. Yeah, see, 75 services were created. If you go here, the tree that you saw on the Lucid chat here, right? So you'll see all these services in a single go here. I can filter by banking services. Yeah, and banking services. Okay. So I just don't want to use anything. But if you see here, yeah, customer banking. So see, this service is dependent on this one, and then mobile app and this banking services is dependent on other services. See, this is the tree diagram we have. So now, once you have these services, you can build all the KPIs, or and then adding the entities to those KPIs. It's a simple thing. First thing is we need to get the architecture, like what services we have, and what services is dependent on other services, and the importance of those services. So everything will be shown here. So if I go to here, configuration, services, So now you can add the KPIs, how many KPIs you want to add for each service, you can add it. So for example, let's take this banking app CV metrics here. Just click on that one service and you can add the KPIs. I'm sure you just add here. See, now we don't have any KPIs. You can create new. You can create from the default KPIs that we have, or you can create a generic KPI, and you can give a metric. I mean, whatever the name you want to give, and click next. And you can add the KPIs from ad hoc search or base search or metric search or from the data model. We have few data models here, like how we added the database for we have a host operating system. Just if you want to use CPU, and then if you want to use a CPU percentage or something. All right, now here we have the host only. Yeah, CPU is 6%, and then click next, and here it will show like how we add, because I don't have any data, so it's not returning any results. That's why it's showing in red color. Or I can add from ad hoc search here, um, index equal to underscore internal. I'm just adding because I don't have any data. So, and then I can perform a field on host and click next. And you can split by host, and then if you want, you can filter the entities by in service and click next. And you can, how you want to calculate that particular CPU percentage for every 5 minutes. You can or every minute you can take an average, max, count, median, whatever, or standard deviation, what or the latest if you want, you can take. And then you can if you want, you can fill the gaps and then click next. If you want to I mean, here you can do a quick monitor lag, but usually by default it is 30. And click next. If you want to backfill, click backfill, or otherwise click next and finish. Here you can add the thresholds also, like if it is normal, that's fine. If you want to add a threshold, if it is below 50, I mean, if it is below 50 count, it is low, or below 75, it is medium, and if it is above 88, it is high. And you can just click finish. Yes, the KPI is added to that particular service. Just I want to save it, I don't want to enable it. Yeah, the main purpose here is just how we how we build the services using Lucid Chat. Because for manually creating the services is very difficult. But for CSV, up to certain extent it's fine, but beyond that we can't manually create the services in a CSV file and we can't add it. But if you go with the Lucid Chat, within minutes you can create like hundreds of services. Any questions? Yeah, that's all.
So Venkat, one question. There was one example you had service and KPI also, right? In the Lucid chart.
Yeah.
So, and the host was the entity, right?
Yes. Yes.
So even that one also came here, like
Yeah. So
quoted.
it will be here whenever because those services were built based on the service templates. Because let me show you that one. So you're talking about
Yeah, one of those right
yeah,
there, checking. Yeah.
this one, right? So you said like uh, the Linux host metric, OS metrics, and the host rule. Why we are not showing that one on the glass table? I mean, on the service analyzer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that the reason because is here I created the template, but in my real scenario here, I don't have those service templates here. to get those service templates, I need to add the content packs.
Okay, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, since this is a my test machine, I don't want to put a lot of applications on this. So that's the reason I don't have that service templates. That's the reason it's not showing. Usually when I go to that particular service, it should
Mhm.
show up like, okay, this service is related to this service template. That's how it should show up. But
Yeah.
since I didn't added the content packs, it's not showing up.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Raja. Yeah, usually here it will show, okay, this particular service is dependent on that particular service template. Before creating the services, we need to have those service templates in Splunk ITSI. Because do you remember, Raja, when I trying to import the service here, import from a search. Uh, let's say, like, yeah, let me copy this one. I think it won't show anything because I provided wrong source here. Maybe I'll go with a default one. I'll go with this lookup file. Copy. Um, So if you see here also I added service templates, right? So when I click next, and when I do as a sign in dependent services, and then services, service title, let's do templates as templates, service template link, and then when I click
Okay.
next, here it's not showing those. Usually if we have those templates, then it will show up here,
Okay.
and then we will match those templates with the data we have here, like in the CSV, like, okay, we'll match this application name with web and the host name with web server. Since I
Okay.
don't have the templates, it's not showing up.
Got it.
Yeah, here the main purpose is like how to create services using Lucid Chat. So I
Okay.
didn't go through each
Yeah.
topic of templates.
Also, the key is like when you export from Lucid and import into ITSI, um, the
Yeah,
data being massaged, right? That's very key because
yeah, that
ITSI has that own template.
that we need to manually write those queries
Got it.
because yeah, that's the main key part. Because here it looks good, right? Okay, this
Mm.
service is dependent on these services. That's fine, but when coming, so when we import this one, it's entirely in a different format, right?
Yeah.
It's not even in the readable format. So to uh, to read that particular CSV file, what we did is we use some eval commands, and then we massage it, and then we make sure, okay, this is how it looks.
Yeah. Can you show that notepad just for the
Yeah,
sake of visibility?
yeah, this one. Yeah. So we use some regex to
Okay.
extract, and then if you
How
want to.
about the export from Lucid? There was one notepad, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'll show
Yeah.
you that one also.
That way,
So
everything is visualized.
yes, yes, yes. Here, right? Click on File, Export, and CSV format. Is this the one you asked?
No, no, it's already stored on your
Oh,
File
okay, okay,
Explorer, right?
okay.
Just wanted to,
Oh, you want to go through that one, right?
yeah, I just wanted to see how. I know it will be line by line format, but I just
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll show you that one also. Let me go here. Downloads, copy of.
yeah, that one.
This is entirely Nova server, right? So it's entirely looks different. Maybe let me open in my backend and I will show you all. Okay, let me bring this one here. See, even this CSV doesn't follow the exact CSV file. See here, it's entirely different. How when we export from the Lucid chat, this is how it looks.
Okay, okay. I
You can see templates here that I added right before.
Yeah.
On the template and template name and the OS rule. Here Windows, Linux, and the host name is www1. And here it will show all the services in the text area one. And then we did some massage to this CSV file, and then we used that particular search to export all the services.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone has any other questions? Okay. Thank you guys for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.